There's an expression that says if you're going through hell, keep going. And for a while this made sense, but today I pondered it. I thought, why not just go back from where you came from? Well, that would be ideal, but I think we can never go back to where we came from. A part of the matrix in which we find ourselves in. So the expression is right. Best to keep moving. Find your way out and make something better. With that said, in this week's episode, we'll explore artificial coastlines and the Moscow World's Fair that never really happened. And today's video is brought to you by me. Welcome. I really shouldn't make a recording right now, but I can't resist. Sometimes I'm very excited, but in this case, very relaxed and as a matter of fact. Where are we right now? This is a little island off the coast of Germany, to the west of Denmark, and just a tiny island. Nothing you would notice until you zoomed in. It's called Heligoland, or something. And I saw this today on Michelle Gibson's vlog, an excellent vlog, and here she shows on this particular day of September, I don't think I'm allowed to say it, in 1807, Heligoland surrendered to the British Navy. And almost certainly this is a BS story, but nevertheless we have an old map, a plan of the city of Copenhagen. And let's see if we can find that on the Google Earth. And here we have Copenhagen, and we'll zoom in, and what do we see? Much artificial creation of coastlines, big time. And where is that star fort? Unclear. What is clear is everything remaining is intricately cut. No men in the early 1800s could conceivably create land. And typically I deal with the impossibility of buildings, but today I want to deal with the mother of subjects, the building of land. And here she is. I knew eventually we would see the remains of this unbelievable fortification of a city, we are told. Now I don't believe this had anything to do with fortification. Are you kidding me? Look at this. Canals within canals within canals. Surely the people that had the time and ability to build all of this land, again, forget about the buildings, were not a warring people. We're not pissing their money away on bullshit wars. No, these people had much bigger and grander plans. And these people are gone. And we are told these were primitive people, battling and building these grand fortifications for the purpose of war. And nothing could be further from the truth, in my opinion. And I even give credit beyond the abilities of a primitive people to even make this map, let alone actually create all of it in the water. And here we can see a smaller part of the fort, the Star Fort within the Star Fort city, complete with a massive brick set of buildings in the center. And it looks like whatever was right here has been demolished, the centerpiece. But again, today I want to focus on the land. Who cares about any of these buildings? This is the elephant in the room. Look at this. These perfectly cut corners and terraces. Trillions of modern dump truck loads of dirt in a time before the dump truck, before the excavator. All done with shovels and horsepower in this early time period in Denmark, we are told. And people can debate us on constructing these buildings. And at times it might sound nice on paper or in theory, but when it comes to this artificial shaping of the land itself, to me this is an absolute proof of a past and not taught about advanced civilization. And again, when I'm talking about landmasses that look like this, and I say probably the remains of a past star fort, in this video I really wanted to explain what I was talking about. Here not far away, Michelle has shared this other random artificial landmass that I began with, and again, just the remains of something great and glorious. Something that would have been depicted like this. And what do these star cities look like today? They look like this. Clearly artificially cut, but almost unrecognizable as a star fort or star city. But yet there are clues everywhere. If this was any ritzier of an area, this would have been turned into a nice golf course. But since it hasn't, we see all kinds of depressions and outlines of a buried city. And all of this is artificial. Michelle recently shared a limestone quarry in Bedford, Indiana. And right next to it she laid the ruins of Baalbek, Lebanon. And we can see the absolute resemblance. Again, I don't believe this is a limestone quarry. I believe these are the remains of the star cities, found all throughout our realm. And sometime last year, I showed you this photo, shared by our friend at IRS Media. Again, showing the coring of what I believe is the foundation of our realm. And very similar to what Michelle has shown right here. And also absolutely reminding me of the ruins we see at Yonaguni Monument in Japan, both above and below the ocean level. Now we know that most of the world's fairs were torn down, but what if one survived? And here I happen to be looking at Moscow State University. Who knew? Really looking like the world's central palace, but we're told this is a university. I wonder what class they teach up here, and I've never seen this before. A strange little group of events led me here, and this is a pretty funny story that was part of the Moscow skyscraper project from 1947 to 1953, but still not what led me to this. I watch a lot of random videos, and one channel that I subscribe to is this Russian girl. Her channel's called Yay Russia, and I really like her. She takes us all over different parts of Russia. The town where she's from is on the far east side of the continent bordering China, but she travels all over, and it gives me an opportunity to examine Russia from a regular person's perspective. Not the Russia they would teach us in school. And here they were in Moscow, I believe. And this screenshot that I took was so quick, one would have just missed this. It was not the focus of the video, and I was absolutely blown away. I hit pause, took the screenshot, took one more here, and I thought, what is this, a World's Fair in Russia? And clearly it had all the signs of a World's Fair. And thank God she had this in the corner here, VDNH Park. So I was immediately curious, and that's when I jumped on Wiki to see what they have to say about this park. And here it is, pretty beautiful in modern times. When most World's Fairs have been torn down, we have this seeming old remains of a World's Fair with a very strange name, like some acronym. VDNK, a very welcoming name. It was also called the All Russia Exhibition Center, another great name. And that name was only used between 1991 and 2014. And as we can see here, it's actually pronounced Videenza, I don't know, perhaps one of you could let me know, but it doesn't matter. But for the sake of not insulting anyone, I'll try to call it Videnza. Is located in the Ostankino district of Moscow, less than a kilometer from the Ostankino Tower. And we can see that here. Super cool tech. What would they tell us this tower is for? Just a beauty, and really looking like a machine. And no doubt they are using it for communications or something. And they tell us it was built between 1967 and 74. Just throwing this baby up. And here I think in Russia, the timeline and the narrative will be even more ridiculous. Just telling us whatever they want. The dates will be much closer to recent times. Similar to the Parliament building in Bucharest. 1,000,000 square feet. Looking as old world as could be, and the narrative tries to tell us that it was built in the 70s. And Bucharest being under communist control, facilitating the ability to tell people whatever the hell they want to tell people. Not that they don't do that in supposed free nations like ours, but just having a little less shame. This park is served by a subway station. Of course. Just amazing. Underground. Beautiful chandeliers. A huge story on this metro station alone. It's one of the deepest metro stations, being situated 53 meters or 176 feet below ground. But back to our World's Fair that never happened. This exhibition was established in 1935. Construction, we're told, took place from 1935 to 1939. 4 years. It was supposedly built on an existing site, then known as Ostankino Park. The master plan was created by a Russian Soviet architect. He was one of the first Soviet experts in skyscraper construction, and the first show was announced to begin in 1937. And was designed as a city of exhibitions, with streets and public spaces which were very common in the 1930s of the 20th century. However, plans did not materialize, and 3 weeks before the deadline, Joseph Stalin personally postponed the exhibition by 1 year. It seemed that at this time, everything would be ready. But again, the builders failed to complete their work, and authorities failed to select and deliver proper exhibits. Some pavilions and entrance gates were torn down to be replaced with more appropriate structures. According to the original plan, all the pavilions were to be constructed from wood. In 1938, the government examined the construction and decided it didn't suit the ideology and direction of the moment. The exhibition was considered too modest and too temporary. Furthermore, this architect was arrested with the Commissioner for Agriculture and his staff, and eventually was released in 1943. Later, after his release from jail, he worked on the Moscow skyscraper project. And this is where I found myself when we started. This crazy architect being thrown in jail, only to be released and build this wonder in 6 years, which is now a university. And really a remarkable fair, looking like all the world's fairs, just mind-blowing and way over the top. This whole fair was constructed in 4 years, we're told, and it finally opened in August of 1939 and closed October 25th. What is that, 3 months? With a daily attendance of 40,000 people. All this for 3 months, and they were going to open it up again, but then there was the German invasion in 1941, and it remained closed until the end of World War II. And here we can see the main entrance to the Videnza, just super massive, still original, and absolutely mind-blowing. Right away when I saw this, I knew we were dealing with the same civilization. Here we can see these massive urns, or I don't know what, really resembling what we see in San Francisco. Some giant pots with lids. And what does this entrance to this short-lived exhibition center in Moscow resemble? It resembles the Brandenburg Gate in Germany, almost exactly. The one in Moscow has a little arch here in the center, but otherwise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 segments. And here in Germany, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 segments. Again, the same people, the same builders, different stories, and yet identical construction. The legendary Soviet Park. So, really rehashing this World's Fair story, a short and temporary exhibition, and look at this, like another world, like a fairy tale for us in our brutalist cubicle building style of modern times. This is magical. This building in the back looks unreal, like a cartoon. And as I mentioned in a past video when I was at the Arch of Triumph in Paris, just most people really oblivious to the wonders surrounding them. What are they even thinking? Not that they are standing in the shadow of a past glorious civilization, that's for sure. She might be thinking that. Let's look at some black and white pictures. Just kicking ass. What does this remind you of? The White City in Chicago for the Columbia Exposition. Again, the same builders, the same glory. I mean, this is a city, not a temporary exhibition. You don't do something like this only to utilize it for 3 months. Not in this early time period. Unbelievable. This may be more remarkable than the Chicago World's Fair. Here again, temporary. I feel grateful and blessed to be seeing these photos today, and equally insulted to be fed such lies. So let me know what you think. A very beautiful piece of the past, still preserved. It would be similar to visiting the World's Fair today, and I would absolutely love to go to this park. Check all this out. Here's a little peek at the subway underneath this expo center, of course, also seeming very temporary. And I really love this Ukrainian pavilion, very ornamental. Here a little aerial view, feeling very 70s. And here again, a look at this Ukrainian building. And how about this? And just a lot of random buildings still existing, just random as could be. A very exciting find today. Have any of you been to this park? Perhaps our friend Philip could report on this. Well, I think that's all I've got this week, but I thank you for joining me, and do have a blessed day. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm pretty fascinated right now. I just watched a Matt of Quantum of Conscious video, and he was talking about a French guy, and I watched the French guy's video too. And they were talking about money, and how this matrix just wants your money. And not even just your money, but your energy behind the money. And how important it is that the money is earned and then just funneled away. And you just stand in the middle, never really having participated in this energy, only earning something to give it away. Kind of a death of the energy. And I agree. I'm just sitting here now, looking out my back door, and I think this is why I live off-grid. When I first moved off-grid, I just pitched a tent out here, and eventually I moved a trailer, a little camping trailer out here. And eventually I built this room that's attached to the trailer. And I think that's what money is to me. I earn money just so I can create. And if I couldn't create, then I would have no need to continue to earn. And I feel like that transforms the energy. If we abide by the system, we end up just pissing away that energy again. It disappears back into the system from whence it came. And again, all I want to do is create. Moving out to a piece of land, a bare piece of land, allowed me to have a blank slate. And before I moved out here, I owned a business and had a house in Salt Lake City and all kinds of things that people would think were wonderful. But I was stuck in this system. I only earned to give away, to maintain my part in the circuit board. And when I moved out here, things became a lot more simple. I started working at a gas station and really didn't need much. Food, and in the winter, heat. And these things pleased me. And I was pleased that I was able to create this concrete floor in this room. I mixed by hand 1 bag of cement at a time, mixing it in a wheelbarrow. And it took me about 2 months. Here we can hear geese above me. And I understand this concept that Matt and the Frenchman were talking about. It's not just about the money. That's not what they want from us. They want our time and devotion and participation in this never-ending cycle. Earn to give away, a waste of life, slavery. And the money does have an energy. How it's earned, how it's spent. Some sort of energy is carried and has more to do with something spiritual, I believe. If I was somebody else, I would tell myself, yes, yes, yes. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me again, and I send my love to all of you.